If I told you 2 months ago that the Liberals would be within 20 points of the Conservatives, you would have laughed me out of the room. Nano's polling even has it at 8 points right now. Now, I'm not asking you to believe the polls, but what these polls really show you is that the momentum is currently with the Liberals. It's weird because in the beginning of this year, I predicted all this. It's maybe the Liberals will put Marcani up against Pierre Poilievre. Now, I'm not convinced that there's a way back for the Liberals, but I'm going to recklessly predict that they might not lose as badly as you think. Or maybe, and it seems inconceivable at this point from where we are, maybe they could actually win a minority. Trump was also not in office at that time. Can you believe it's only been 3 weeks? Honestly, I think if Poilievre is going to lose the next election, it will probably be because of Trump. I've actually got 4 reasons why I believe this. Let me break those down for you. The first one, Poilievre's policies are not that different to Trump's policies. So think about everything we know about Poilievre's platform so far. He's very much against regulation and government standing in the way of industry. Fast track everything, drill baby drill. Well, if you listen to him long enough, you really start to see the similarities between his policy positions and Trump. I don't think he's as radical as Trump, but I'll tell you something I noticed recently. Tell me if you did too. You know how Trump is cutting US aid and foreign aid in general? So I was listening to Poilievre speak the other day, and he was in Iqaluit, and that's in Nunavut, if you don't know. He spoke about setting up an Arctic military base and buying all sorts of gear, icebreakers and such. The problem is these things cost money, right? So how is Poilievre going to pay for it? He said he'd cut foreign aid in order to pay for all those things that he was proposing in the Arctic. Basically, he took that right out of the Trump playbook. To be fair, for where we are right now, I don't think many Canadians would be too angry about cutting foreign aid. But it's just something I noticed. Apart from the foreign aid thing, so the other day he proposed life imprisonment for fentanyl dealers, right? Personally, I think jail every fentanyl dealer. No sub-story justifies distributing a drug that continues to kill so many people in this country. But the interesting thing I noticed there was he kind of went halfway, and said he'd focus on the kingpins. In my mind, it was like, bro, stand your ground. He's been doing this thing lately where he's been trying to center himself in these culture war debates. Remember, he said he's only aware of 2 genders, but then the government should stay out of it. If you're a person with a discerning mind, you know why the government cannot stay out of the whole gender debate. If that was Trump, he would tell you what he believes to your face. Like, everybody right now is screaming about the shit Trump is doing. He's been telling you that all along. You voted for this, right? With Pierre, I just feel like he's playing the politics a little bit. And when you're not fully committing to stuff like that, it really leads people to believe they can't trust you. You know, and that actually leads me to my second point. Trump is tainting the conservative brand and scaring the shit out of people. And that, I think, is going to affect Pierre Poilievre in the next Canadian federal election. Canadians don't like Trump very much right now. He's trying to take our jobs. He's threatening our sovereignty. So right now, I don't know a single Canadian with any sense that loves Trump. I've said several times already, with how fast Trump is going and the people he's pissing off, he will either fail spectacularly or he will succeed in resounding fashion. And I'm here for both. I'm not going to lie. I'm here for both. But that uncertainty is scary. You've seen it in the stock market. Like, even people who voted for him are pausing to see where this might go. It's interesting that many liberals are declaring victory so early. Like, people are saying, you voted for this. Oh, ha, ha, ha. There's a whole you voted for this movement on social media right now. I think that's a little bit premature. I do think many Trump voters may not have fully understood the full consequences of Trump's promises. But I guess, like all of us, they're in the find out phase right now. Like, maybe he'll come good. Who knows, right? Here's an interesting thought for you. What do we know about Trump's policies? We know they'll probably cause inflation to rise, right? Americans will see that in form of higher prices for stuff. And on the surface, Trump himself has said it is about reshoring manufacturing in the US. It will create jobs, yeah? But what use is a job if your buying power is eroded? That's a philosophical question. The other part of this iceberg that you don't really see is the government debt. The US national debt is around 36 trillion right now. So there is a world where higher inflation and tariffs may actually help the government to pay down debt. Now, that will not feel very nice for the everyday American, but we'll have to see where that goes. For us here in Canada, we're looking at him putting tariffs on our stuff. Like, if he follows through on a cross-border tariffs, that will drop us into a recession. Many people will lose their jobs in the industry because of this. This week, he started with aluminum and steel, and maybe in a month, it will be cars. We don't like Trump very much right now. So we're looking at Poilievre talking about similar policies. Some people have actually gone as far as calling Poilievre Trump light. If those attachments hold, say things go spectacularly wrong for Trump in the next 2 months, you can imagine Canadians will probably seek something they perceive to be more steady, i.e., not Poilievre. So here's another problem that Trump is causing right now for Pierre Poilievre. At number 3, Poilievre is not getting as much attention because Trump is dominating the news. We can't stop talking about Donald Trump. He's signing executive orders, he is dissing Taylor Swift, or just doing something wild. That's just Trump, right? Honestly, I hope I'm that energetic when I'm 80. The thing here is that Canada pays attention to the US even without Trump being in office. I think we have an unhealthy obsession with American news. Trump, as you know, just loves being the center of attention and all the theatrics. You throw on the fact that he's attacking Canada right now, literally nothing Pierre Poilievre is saying is landing in the public consciousness with the same thought as a Trump announcement. But there's hope. Maybe once the Liberals finally have a leader, he has a target in front of him, once Parliament returns on March 24th and he can properly face off whoever the Liberal leader is, we might see the momentum actually swing back at that particular point. I expect him to be aggressive once Parliament resumes. You know he knows how to create these viral TikTok moments. The other thing I wanted to say is part of the reason behind the Liberals' recent resurgence is the fact that Trump has given them a chance at redemption, sort of. Provincial conservatives like Danielle Smith and Scott Moe have emphasized making the case to Americans that we're useful to them. I translate this to mean like begging on hands and knees, sort of like Danielle Smith has been doing. But that's just my view. The Americans have proceeded to ignore all the begging and put tariffs on us anyways. Hopefully, the lesson is learned at this point that Trump will not honor any agreements, nor does he give a damn about you. But have you noticed recently that you have not seen as many F. Trudeau flags? You go through the comment section on some of his social media posts and people are actually saying nice things about Justin Trudeau, which is crazy, right? Crazy to think about that just 2 months ago. I think he has been steady. He has taken steps that I agree with right now. But it remains to be seen if it will be enough to repair the damage to the Liberal brand. But I will say this as I come to the end of this video. Look, Pierre Poilievre is hardly in danger right now. 20 points is still a big lead. That is still majority territory. Now, I would argue this is probably Pierre Poilievre's most precarious time, and here's why. Just think about everything Pierre Poilievre is great at. He is amazing in parliament, and you can tell he really enjoys holding the government of the day accountable. He just loves calling out the Liberal government. And he has made a superpower out of being able to articulate the problems everyday Canadians are facing. Now, I'm not saying that means that he'll be great at fixing said problems, but he points them out very nicely. The other thing he's done very well so far is basically making people hate Justin Trudeau. He does this thing where he removes all the nuance from the problems of the day and just makes it simple. Trudeau, bad, I fix it. Simple as that. You could argue he's the original F. Trudeau proponent. Now, with Justin Trudeau out of the picture and the Liberals currently in the middle of a leadership race, he doesn't have a clear target. At this point, we know Mark Carney will win the Liberal leadership. But at the moment, Pierre has not really been able to really stick him with anything. He's talked about carbon tax Carney and all those things, but he has not really been able to make anything stick. Watch that space. But if it is Mark Carney, Pierre Poilievre will put in the work. You can just expect that. Trust me, Mark Carney has a lot of baggage that you could argue won't work for Canadians right now. He has been a staunch supporter of climate action, for example. Now, that's not very popular in the face of economic challenges that we're facing these days in this country. So it's funny how with Trump tariffs, most Canadians are like, build a pipeline, pump all the oil. Like, where was all this energy when it wasn't an emergency, guys? That said, Mark Carney has a unique set of skills that Pierre Poilievre should be terrified of. He's an economist. He's a numbers man. Till this point, no one has really kicked the tires on Pierre Poilievre's platform. Now, if I were Mark Carney, I'd go deep on the cost of Pierre Poilievre's promises and how feasible his policies are. Like, really, I want to see if he's able to deliver on the promises that he has made at the cost that he's promising. It's very easy to make promises, right? Anybody can say anything, but at what cost? So that's what I'm looking to see. I think it will be fascinating to see both of them go head to head come debate time. Speaking of promises, I'm building a community here on this channel. Now, you don't have to agree with everything I say, but please subscribe if you're new to the channel and leave your thoughts in the comment section. I'll see you next time. Take care, guys.